Hello and welcome to You Lovers. Tonight we are looking at the Manics' seventh studio album, Lifeblood, 2004. Again, I am very happy to be joined by Darren Leach. Hello, Darren.
Hello again. Thanks for having me back. Obviously,
it's nice. It's nice to have some company, mate.
Obviously, you loved me. Pun intended.
Oh, Jesus!
Unintended.
And I've been telling myself all day not to say good day to you. So sorry,
right.
It's an old
That's
one.
Right.
So Lifeblood. It was when I first heard Lifeblood, it felt like a very un-Manics album to me. It immediately, there was nothing jarring in it. It felt like an evolution, which I was comfortable with, but it felt like they were almost lost a little bit. I don't think it hit the quality of the tracks. I think the quality of the tracks is very, very high, although some people say it isn't. But it just felt like a band in need of a spa day, something like that.
I agree, and I know we'll get into it, but don't forget, after this, they did take a break. They did do the solo albums, and they're all right. So if I think I mentioned it last week, but last month, but I moved over in 2005 to the UK and got excited because then I could see the Manics because, as you know, they didn't really tour Australia. They'd only done one tour up till that date, and didn't go back for 11 years. So, so I was excited. Yeah. And Lifeblood was just out. It came out in October 2004. Yeah. I moved in about May 2005. And because the album was a commercial flop, which it was, they only, and we'll get into this obviously, but they only released 2 singles, which is unusual. Normally they release 4. And because they didn't release that 3rd or 4th single, I didn't get to see them because their last tour was March, I believe, 05. So I missed out by two months. And I just
what a sickener! What a sickener! It's funny that they only released 2 singles, but the singles were both really, really successful. They both got to number 2.
There you go. Yeah. But please explain why you wouldn't release more. The record company.
Yeah, I think
I thought you would push a 3rd because. Obviously, it's summer, mid-year here. Obviously, Australia's different. So I thought you'd push that 3rd single for the summer festivals.
Yeah. What would have been the 3rd single then?
Oh, we were going to get into that in my notes. Should we wait, or do you want to know?
Tell me now, because I think it's an interesting point that yes, they could have squeezed another single out of it quite easily.
Oh, easily. 2. Yeah. Great. So I really like Song for the Departure.
Yeah, I would. Oh, yeah.
Because obviously 1985. Why that wasn't a single, I had no idea. And it was great that they started playing that much later after the album, because obviously the band condoned this record and didn't play anything basically after this tour. And they brought back 1985 a little later, 10 years ago. Look, I'd have to look at the exact tour, but I remember they played it and I went, good song. And I really like Always Never. Whether that's a single, I'm not too sure, but there's just something about it. And we'll get into this, where it's placed into the album. I think it's because there was a couple of slower songs, mid-tempo, most of the record, but then this one has more of a sort of that slap funky bass.
I think it was a very chartable track. Always Never, very chartable. Yeah, I think with that rhythm,
definitely. A Song for the Departed. 1985 should have been the 3rd.
Yeah,
1985 should have been the 3rd. Definitely. I actually disagree that Richard Nixon was the 1st. It's an okay song. It's a good 3rd single or 4th single. Yeah. I don't think it should be the 1st single. It's an okay song. Yes, it got to number 2.
Yeah, I think that was record company pressure. That I think because it's the only overtly political, in inverted commas, track that's on the album. On the face of it, it's political because it says Richard Nixon in it, and I think that the record company must be still a bit
and that's panicked. And they're a political band.
So I think that's why
I got to say this album was. I got to say this is a less political album. It's more of a reflection album.
Definitely, very melancholic.
Obviously, it starts with 1985, the year before they officially started as a band. So
Yeah, it's funny. It reminds me in a way of like a Berlin album. So you had Iggy Pop, Bowie, and U2. They all went over to spend time in Berlin recording, and all came out with significantly different sounds from when they came in. And I know this wasn't recorded in Berlin, but it's that kind of idea.
Well, they had Visconti on 3 tracks.
They did, yeah, and that
Connection.
again, Bowie connection straight away. And I just, yeah, it's like I said, it sounds like a band that needs a break. They even admitted that they didn't know how to promote the album. They had no idea what to do with the songs. They loved the songs, they were happy with them, but they didn't know how to talk about them. And it sounds like fatigue to me. It really does.
I agree. I think they should have taken a break, because if you remember, in between Know Your Enemy and the greatest hits, and then the B-sides and covers. So it was kind of a, whenever a band releases that, it's like end of version 1 or whatever you want to call it. They should have just taken a break. Like, look, I remember before the 2024, deluxe edition, when it came out, the 20th anniversary. I remember on Facebook, people would defend this album, and that's fine. Like what you like. I'm not. I do like this record. I just think it's like their 8th or 9th best album, to be fair. So I listen to it. Yeah. I like it. It's just obviously I'm going to listen to Everything Must Go, Generation Terrorists, Know Your Enemy. A lot more. So
yeah, I think it's an
evolution.
Yeah, it's an evolutionary.
Change up.
Yeah, it's an evolutionary point, isn't it, for them? It's a phase change. This is where they definitely change as a band. Although they did take a slight step back with Journal for Plague Lovers. Some of the tracks on there were a little bit more typically manic. If that
absolutely,
right.
It's all about the guitar tone. So I feel this is nowhere near a guitar album. Know Your Enemy. Wow. No. And this one, there's only a couple of tracks where you can really hear the guitar.
Yeah,
so it's more synths and keyboards.
Yeah, pads and atmospheres. Yeah, I've got a couple. There's a couple of tracks right now, and we'll get into them now, where I might get into trouble by my observation. So let's kick off with 1985 then. It wears this very large badge on its sleeve, which the whole album does, which is of an 80s feel. They've definitely gone back into their 80s back catalogue. The Echo and the Bunnymen, the Cult, bands like that, and they've definitely let those influences wash over them on this album. Very, very 80s.
I definitely love this track from first hearing it. I think it's a great opener. I actually liken it to Sleep Flower in the sense of, it's a great opener and it grabs your attention. Obviously, Sleep Flower is a lot more rocky. I'm not talking about the guitars in that.
Yeah.
And I said, should have been a single. Should have been a single.
Yeah.
It took them a while to play it. Like, I don't think they really played it even on the tour. I did look at some stats, and by 2005, they were only played 7 tracks off the album. And that's not at each gig. That was over the tour. Over the tour. I did write it down. Here we go. In 2005, the album got, and they played 20 shows in 05 and 14 in 04. So they only did 34 gigs.
That's not a lot, is it?
Yeah. No. But obviously it flopped and they didn't do summer. Yeah. I think they just went, we're taking a break.
Yeah.
Let's do some solo albums.
I think the thing for me opening the album with 1985, it's similar to the opening to Know Your Enemy. Would it have been better to have Empty Souls as the first track, because it's got that drum beat that grabs your attention? But 1985 is actually a strong enough song in a different vein to pull you into the album.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a really, really strong song.
I agree. I think being a reflective song as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think being a reflective song, I think it's a very manic song, and the fans will love it because it is a reflective song. It's like, and 85, the band formed next year. So
yeah. Everybody loves a little bit of nostalgia, don't they?
Mhm.
They do.
And the band was in their mid-30s at this stage.
Yeah. Yeah, which for me was a time when I was being quite reflective as well. You know, in my mid-30s, I was thinking, crikey, I can't believe I got this far, but you know, we made it. I noted as well that it's very evident from this song that it's going to be a synth album, because the synths are all over this track. Not necessarily overly prominent, but there are a lot of synths in this song, and it's again, it goes back to pads and environments and washes to give that feel. So on to The Love of Richard Nixon then. It's not the best song they've ever written.
It kind of plods along.
It does. It does, yeah. It's, I don't know. I can see why they picked it. Like we said before, it's a political song and they're a political band. But I think you're right. It plods. It doesn't really change a gear anywhere. You know, the Manics are known so well for, look at Design for Life. You know, you've got that medium pace start and then into the orchestral and the strings swell, and you've got movement through all of their best tracks. And this one is just like, maybe it's the drum machine. Maybe they just tied themselves to that too much. You know,
I agree. I think it's the drum machine. Yeah.
But
it just remains the same tempo the whole time. And yeah, look, if it was on the radio or if it was on Spotify, I wouldn't turn it off. You go, oh, this is cool.
Yeah. From a harmony point of view, there's the actual vocal line itself is perfectly fine, but it's perfectly fine. And we're spoiled, aren't we, by what the Manics have produced before and since.
Exactly. Yeah, because you're always going to check.
Yeah,
you're always going to compare it to what they've done before. Of course you are. You know,
yeah, so. I'm perfectly fine. So Empty Souls. The first time I heard Empty Souls, I got this image of a Northern Soul night. You know, because the drum pattern it kicks in with. You know, people like an old men's working club and people just dancing. I just love this song. I think it's a phenomenal track.
Great. And I thought it should have been maybe the first single.
Yeah.
And it's just the title, Empty Souls. It's such a manic title, isn't it? So
yeah. And James's vocal range on the chorus is just incredible. He's going into his full falsetto. It's amazing. It's a really, really good track.
I thought it was not that far off the less rocky tracks from Know Your Enemy. I thought it would have, if that was on that album, I'd go, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. I actually picked up on that on one of the other tracks, that it sounded like it had come from a different album. I'll find my note in a minute. It's on one of the B-sides, but we'll come to that in a tick.
But great song. Great choice as a
song.
single.
Yeah, great song. Single. Yeah.
Sadly, their last single.
I know.
We're already there. That's at the end.
Done, dusted, back to Australia. You're not going to see them play live. A Song for Departure. Now, I got a bit of a... Was this one of the ones that Visconti did? Because I got a definite Bowie vibe here.
I believe it is. It is. This is the first one, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I got a Bowie Queen vibe on the intro.
I love the bass. So it's a great bass line by Nicky. So it's the first time I feel he has come in and just gone, listen to me. But it's got this really good groove because it's up in the mix and it really just drives the song. Yeah. And also there's the piano in there.
Have you noticed that as well?
It's the ABBA-esque, dare I say that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And the thing that, yet again, another trademark of the Manics is the chorus. That they are so good at writing choruses, and this song in particular has a phenomenal chorus. But ABBA-esque, I think James and Nicky, I think all of them would be very, very happy with that description.
Well, they love it, don't they?
Of course they do. Of course they do.
They admitted during one of the latter albums, didn't they?
So. Well, it was written all over it. It was very, very ABBA-esque. Very ABBA-esque, yeah.
I got to say, James does sneak in a guitar solo. I think it's the only guitar solo, and I think it just lasts about 5 seconds.
Yeah. There's some more noodling through the album.
Yeah.
But it's a proper guitar solo in that instance.
And I said, as we said, it should have been a single.
Definitely.
Probably the third or fourth I reckon.
Yeah.
Maybe 85. No, 85 should have been the third single, Song for the Departure.
Yeah. I think the groove, I think you're right about that rhythm track. I think that's very, very chartable. And I think at that time, I think that would have been a very, very good single. I Live to Fall Asleep. I can only use one word to describe this song, and it's beautiful.
I said a gentle track driven by piano throughout the entire.
Yeah, there's just something. It's like it reminds me of This Is Yesterday, not in a structural way, or it sounds like it. It gives that feeling, gives me the same kind of feeling, and it's an absolutely quality song. Yeah, I'm jealous. I wish I could write one like that.
Yeah, great song. But do you know what? I feel it could have been better. Replace, the processed guitars with actual strings. Because underneath they've got that processed guitar, which is not a bad thing, because I still like the song. But if they put strings on this they should have produced this song. He would have gone, strings.
Oh, yeah.
Strings.
Or maybe if they were going, because I think they were more going for the 80s feel, weren't they?
Yeah, you're right, with the synths.
Yeah, and I think if they were going to bring anybody in, they would have brought Trevor Horn in.
Oh, okay.
But that would have absolutely destroyed the song, because he would have overproduced.
He made it too poppy, yeah.
yeah, and that would have killed it.
Yeah.
Now this is where I might get into trouble now. The first track where I might say something where people go, "Oh, really?" To Repel Ghosts, I put. Sorry if this offends anybody. Manics does U2.
Interesting.
It's the intro. The intro is very, very U2. And so are the guitars. It's almost like the edges appearing in there somewhere, supporting them.
I liked it.
Yeah, I like it. I'm not saying I don't like it, but it feels like a U2 song.
For me, it's not quite the next track is where it falters for me. Yeah, we'll get into that in a second.
Yeah.
I just have one of the few with a prominent guitar once again. As we know, the guitar's not prominent on the album much. It's not like it's, raging like the rock songs on Know Your Enemy, but I just said one of the few up-tempo tracks on the album, because it's not an up-tempo album. But I feel it's another track that they could have added the strings just to uplift the track even more so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And it's a song about ghosts, which will become a reoccurring theme, by the way.
Yeah, it will do, yeah. So Emily then. So I'm getting, you've got some issues with this song.
So this is where I've said, this is where you turn the record over. And I will get to that analogy later.
Well, I've done a retroactive. My comment on Emily is retroactive, because the vocal line is identical to Vivian from Resistance is Futile.
I shouldn't say the H word. I really dislike that song.
All right, now I love that song.
And if you invite me back.
Yeah.
Hey, just on a quick side note about Vivian, because it's Vivian, and I go, that is the corniest guitar line.
Oh, of course it is. I think that's why I like it. I think it's
okay.
Yeah, yeah. I've just got a soft spot for the whole album. Resistance is Futile.
I've got a love hate relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I was okay with Emily when Lifeblood came out, but then after hearing Vivian, the similarities become too jarring, and I've got to pick. I've got to decide which one I prefer, and I prefer Vivian. So
this is a Tony's Visconti.
Yeah.
And it's another song that references ghosts as well, by the way. So two in a row. Yeah. I said, good song, but first song that didn't wow me. So it is a good song, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I just feel that the first 6 songs, like, it is front-loaded.
It is.
Like, the album is front-loaded. Those first 6 songs for me are really good. And now there's 2 in a row.
Yeah.
Glasnost as well.
Yeah.
I just went, much like Emily, a good song, but it just didn't wow me.
Yeah.
Because we've got these too many mid-tempo songs, and I just feel Emily and Glasnost are just, while the others say a 7 out of 10s, this is like a 5.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
6 out of 10. Good, but
yeah. I think the energy and the writing definitely went into the, like you said, the first 6, and they start to feel a little bit tired. maybe it was that fact, let's do the album in definite two sides. One side is really good, the other side is it'll keep you going until the next album comes out.
Yeah.
But
if you drop those,
Yeah.
If you drop those two songs, I think it's a great 10-track album. I know we haven't quite finished, but I think if you drop those, make them B-sides,
Yeah, I've got a track I'd take off the album, which we haven't got to yet, which I'd definitely take off it. I found Glasnost to be a little bit U2 again.
Okay.
Yeah. It's something about the way the guitars are processed. It's the effects that they're using on the guitars there. It came over a little bit U2 around about Achtung Baby.
Okay.
Which is their Berlin album again. So it's that whole Berlin thing. I don't know whether that was present in their minds. I've not seen them talk about it. But it always sticks with me, that one. Always Never.
Great track.
Love the rhythm track.
One of my favorites.
Yeah.
Funky bass.
Yeah.
Funky bass.
And brilliant vocal line on it as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And another.
It's slightly different to the rest of the album.
Yeah.
I think that's why it works for me.
Yeah.
It's one of those latter deep cuts that you go, track number, 7 or something, 8. And you just go, so there's some life in this album, especially after my complaints about Emily and Glass.
Yeah.
But,
I wonder whether they wouldn't have been better putting Always Never on the front side of the album instead of Richard Nixon. And
that means it wouldn't have been a single then, I feel, because you've got to top load the singles.
Yeah, I know.
Normally.
Yeah. But it's a great song with a great chorus again. And the rhythm track on it is just what pushes it forward so well.
Yeah. It is that alternate side of the Manics back. It's very un-Lifeblood because, as I said, Lifeblood kind of has the same theme throughout it. They're all mid-tempo. Yeah. No guitars.
Yeah.
This song, I just went, so this is why I love the Manics. They do this. Not a single, shouldn't be a single. Great deep cut.
Yeah. Yeah. You, the first time you hear it, you think, ooh, because it grabs your attention, and that's what we're always looking for. Solitude sometimes is. Now I'm undecided on this track. No matter how many times I listen to it, I love the chorus, but the intro and the verses, it doesn't do a great deal for me.
It was okay, wasn't it? Yeah. So that, once again, I keep saying okay, but that's why some of these, as I said, we flipped the album, and I feel that when I was growing up, a lot of the albums were on vinyl, and the first side was always always the better tracks. Side 2 was all the deep cuts. Hey, you might get a couple of great songs on it, but it's I'm not saying filler. But just the lesser known tracks, the ones you probably wouldn't go back to as often. And I feel this is just one of them. For me, it's another mid-tempo track. But I feel James puts a bit of urgency into his vocal delivery.
Yeah.
Because the others, he kind of just sings most of them. But this one, I think it just gives a little bit more. And I think for me that it becomes a listenable track for me.
Yeah. Okay. Fragments. Now, this starts off, I don't know if you're familiar with a band called The.
Definitely know the band.
Yeah.
Which song in particular?
This Is the Day.
Well, I know that. Well, they covered it, didn't they?
Yeah, but Fragment sounds like The to me, which is absolutely a compliment in my book. But a track again, I don't know whether it goes anywhere.
I put much like Emily and Glasnost, and I know you can fill in the rest. Look, it's a good track, but the album has many of these. So by the time I'm getting to the end of this, it's like, do I need another mid-tempo track? Yeah. Easily, still a good song, but skippable. Yeah, if you want.
Yeah. And now, finally, the last track on the album, we get to the track which I would take off the album.
Oh, you know it's about Richie.
I know, but it feels like two songs quite brutally welded together. It doesn't feel cohesive at all.
For me, it's another song about ghosts as well, by the way.
Yeah.
And it's a Tony Visconti. But for me, all these Tony Visconti songs, I go, are they? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't think he brought anything to it, to be fair.
No, I
Because
think
if you listen to the demo, I think one of the songs doesn't have a demo, but like you just go, yeah, it's kind of the same, you know. But so this one has an acoustic. It's driven by an acoustic guitar and a harmonica.
harmonica. Yeah.
And yeah, look, it doesn't seem like a tribute to Richie to me.
No.
I think when they did This Is the Day, because I think watching it with, just because we've mentioned it, do you remember the song? Do you remember the video for This Is the Day? It was all about Richie.
Yes. Yeah.
And I just went, I love this song. Like the video made me like it. So
Yeah.
I felt that's more of a tribute, even though it's not even the Manic song. But yeah, this is, if you didn't tell me this is about Richie, I'd probably skip it at the end. Because yeah, it doesn't bring, for me, it doesn't bring anything to the album that, you know, the other songs haven't brought already. So
yeah. So it's an album that's front loaded, which we both agree on. An album where the tempo is maybe misjudged. An album where the band feel a little bit tired, but still an important album for them. Like you said earlier, commercial car crash, but quite well reviewed at the time.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. The Q magazine did not like it. I don't know. That was a scathing. That was a scathing one.
Q called it beautiful but bloodless. And Pitchfork dismissed it as a midlife identity crisis in synth form, which is a bit harsh.
That's when they were being wanks and sorry, if I'm swearing.
That's all right. It's great.
They would just put anything down, you know, and probably, and no offense to say 19-year-olds, just get the 19-year-old to review it, even though they have no context on the rest of the band's catalogue.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Yeah. It's funny. Do you know what the working title for the album was before it was called Lifeblood?
Oh, it was one of the B-side. Litany?
It was called, according to my research, God Save the Manics.
Oh, well, that was the EP after, which we're going to talk about.
Which, thankfully, they didn't call it that, because that's a bloody awful album name, that is.
You know they did release... Have you seen that EP, though?
I don't think so, no.
We'll talk about it during the B-sides. We'll talk about the B-sides, Well, so for me, there's nothing wrong with this album. It's just, you know, I remember liking it at the time, just going, oh, great, it's a Manics album. I love it. I'd take anything that Manics, and it was very different to Know Your Enemy, and it was different to all the previous albums, and that's why it works still.
Yeah.
You know, they're a band that never repeats, but it just lacked the grunt.
Yeah.
Give me a bit of grunt, and we're going to talk about some songs that are left off.
We
later. Afterwards, because during my research, I went, that was left off? Are you kidding? The Manics just always have that kind of angst. And I just think they should have just taken some time off and just, not saying not release this album, because you can't, that's being very unfair, but just taking that bit of extra time to release an album, you know, just think it over a bit more.
Yeah, I think that the 12 tracks on the album, I think all of them are at the core of them, they're very good Manic songs, and I think maybe a little bit more work on some of them may have ended up with a better result. So, take a bit more time off, do a bit more work on the album, release the album a year later. You know, because with the greatest hits out, you know, there's plenty of material out there for the fans. Yeah, and Manics fans are very forgiving fans.
Yes.
So I think they could have definitely had a bit longer on this album. I know they wanted to get onto the solo albums. I know they wanted to get onto a break, but maybe a little bit more time on this may have given a more rounded result.
And Sean wanted to get to his guns. So
and I think as well that maybe they would have taken a different approach to a couple of tracks where instead of going, apologies again, a little bit U2 or Simple Minds, you know, they may have gone a little bit more old school Manics there and driven the songs at a higher tempo, driven them with a bit more gusto. Yeah,
that's it. I just find it weird that the guitar was missing for most of the tracks. And you know, it's just they've got those softer mid-tempo songs on every album.
Yeah.
But not the whole album.
No. No, and I think that is why people see it as a misstep of an album, isn't it? Because the Manics are a guitar band.
Yeah. And that's it.
Fundamentally. And you take away the guitar there, then it's just another record, isn't it? Yeah. So let's talk about tracks that were missed off then, because some of them surprised you.
So I heard an interview with Greg Haver. So he was one of the producers. He was the main producer of the album, because it was obviously Tony Visconti. Yeah. He was saying that some of the B-sides were recorded around the time of the Greatest Hits. So the Greatest Hits was released a couple. And obviously they did Door to the River and, what was the other track on the album? There was another track on the Greatest Hits album that was released as a single. But also, did you know that Forever Delayed and Judge Yourself were recorded around that time?
Oh, right.
Of the big day of the Greatest Hits. And I went, how were they left off? Like, they were just, I think they're some of the
storming songs,
the best tracks never released on albums. Like, it's just absolutely crazy. So if they were, I think Forever Delayed is serious. It's in my top 10. I just absolutely love that track. There's something about, how could you leave that off? How could you leave that off?
I don't understand that at all.
Yeah.
Is it themically right for this album though?
No.
And that's the decision, isn't it? Yeah.
And but it was written before all these tracks, apparently. And some B-sides we're gonna talk about in a sec. But like Judge Yourself. I know Judge Yourself was for the movie but it never went on that soundtrack. So yeah. But when I read that, I just went, what? Sorry, when I heard Greg Haver talk about it, I just went, oh my God. How?
Crazy, isn't it? Because Forever Delayed in particular is a through and through Manics track.
Absolutely. It was a single in Japan.
Yeah.
And I think that CD, it was more of an EP, I think, had a few tracks. I remember I just went, oh, what? Manics EP? It's not released anywhere else? And of course I probably played Over the Top because it was Japanese for one thing and I had to import it. So yeah.
But that's such a strange decision when you look at tracks that don't make it to albums. It really is.
But just look at Know Your Enemy. Like, how many genres we were talking about last night? How many genres did they cover there? So,
it was a jigsaw, wasn't it?
Yeah. But even throwing them on and having the softer song, people would have just gone, oh, this is great. Oh, this is a Manic song. And then the mid-tempo, oh, this is a Manic song as well.
Yeah. I just think with this album that somebody somewhere had made the decision that it was going to be mid-tempo, not aggressive, almost a calm album for them.
I agree.
And that putting anything too guitar driven, too manicky wasn't right for this time. And it's a shame because it would have lifted the album up, to giving it another star or two if it had some more of the more classic tracks.
Yeah.
So you said before that you wanted to talk about
some B-sides,
and you give me 4 in particularly.
Okay, so I've given you 4. I've got Askew Road, Everybody Knows, Nobody Cares, Failure Bound, and The Soulmates. Now, I just picked these for some I like, some are just okay, but like Askew Road was, I love, it's a very slow song. Once again, it's a very reflective song. And it's a nostalgic tribute to the band's early days, so much like Paranoid 85 and Cardiff Afterlife, but specifically to their time when they were living with manager Philip Hall and his wife on the real Askew Road in London. So, and what I like about it, because I think when Richie appears in any track after he passed away, I think the Manics fans gravitate to it a lot more. So, and being a B-side, so only a Manics fan would know about this song. So it features an interview clip of Richie discussing the band's relationship with other bands. And while musically it's not that exciting, but I don't think it has to be. I think it's obvious I'm more into their guitar side. But there was something about this song I just really like. And it's I think it's
the lyrics. I think it's the lyrics. I think it's the story it's telling. I think the music is held back a little bit to allow the story to come out clearer.
I agree.
Yeah. And yeah, it could have got on the album, as far as I'm concerned. It could have. It could have swapped off, taken over Glasnost instead, or something like that. Yeah. The next one is Everybody Knows Nobody Cares, where
this should have been on the album.
Definitely.
How the hell did this not make it? Like,
yeah. But the problem with this track, and again, I'm going to get into trouble. Okay. The problem, if it is a problem, you would have to replace Glasnost or To Repel Ghosts.
This could have been a single, and I agree. Yes, it'd have to be higher up. It'd have to be in the top 6, so it'd have to be a bit of a reshuffle.
Yeah.
But I just like, I said, finally the guitars are prominent, but they're kind of that eerie sound, that kind of angular sound. So I feel that this guitar, there's, you know how bands, they just walking around and they think of an idea. If they're a guitarist, they'll hum it into their phone. And they'll use it later. I think this was left off the Holy Bible. Now that's probably a load of hogwash, but I just feel the guitar, just a bit of it, just kind of sounds like Holy Bible.
Yeah. I find this feels to me like a bit of a Simple Minds song, and it's that guitar. That guitar reminds me of Simple Minds.
Yeah, you're right. It still sounds that 80s vibe to it, even though
it's a cracking song. And another song,
absolutely love it,
with a brilliant intro. I just love the intro to it. It's one of those. It's another one that grabs you by the knackers and goes, "Listen up, lads, come on, off we go." Yeah, great song. Track number 3 was "Failure Bound."
Now, this should have been a Nicky solo track, but I'm only bringing it to your attention because I just feel this is so much a Nicky song.
Isn't it just?
And it is so alternate to anything else they've ever done. He doesn't really sing it. He kind of narrates it, but that's his singing style.
Yeah.
Definitely B-side material, but I think it's actually a really good B-side.
Yeah. I think this is Nicky's attempt at being Dr. Dre.
Yeah. Without the rapping.
It reminds me of... the Jam, is it the 3rd or 4th album, Sound Effects? They had a track on there which had that reverse guitar music. Yeah,
it does. Yeah, you're right.
I can't remember what song it's called now. But it had that kind of vibe in it until obviously Nicky starts to do his narration over the track. Yeah.
Even as Stone Roses had that reverse.
Yeah. Lots of bands have
album.
used it. Yeah, the Beatles used it at times as well.
But it's so vastly different to the album. But there's something that I go, I like this.
Yeah.
I personally, well.
I would have put it on the album as the last track.
Yeah, hidden track.
Yeah, hidden track, because we haven't had a hidden track tonight. Yeah. I think it's an ideal place for it to live, rather than being on a B-side that somebody might never ever hear. On a hidden track, it would have been great. And then the Soulmates.
I think this is a really good song. I think it was actually on the Japanese version. Japanese had 2 extra songs. This and I think it was Antarctica or Antarctic or something, which is not a very good thing. But it's a very guitar-driven track. And there's even a guitar solo in it.
There is. Everybody stopped and went, oh, what's this?
And I find, and there's more urgency, once again, in James's singing, which the album really lacked. I did say, should have been on the album.
I found,
on side 2.
Yeah. When I was listening to it, I got vibes of Gold Against the Soul.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
maybe I don't know. It's got soul in it.
Yeah, I don't know whether it was written then, but there's something in the guitar that makes me feel of the Gold Against Soul album. So it was not a misstep as far as I'm concerned by any chance. It's a solid album. It's just not up to the standards that we're used to. There were Know Your Enemy had a little bit of bumpy progress when we listened to that, but I think this is the first album where, like you've said, everything is front loaded. Side A is the most impressive side It contains the most impressive tracks, and side B is just getting a little bit, slowing down, getting a little bit more tired as they progress. Yeah. You sent me a picture before of a signed poster.
So I was just going through my phone. I go through my phone every once in a while just to delete photos because, you take so many and you kind of forget about them.
Yeah.
And before I moved back here in 2019, I took a photo of a whole bunch of my posters. And that was one of them. So it was the 1999 gig of their show in Australia. So it was their very first one. I flew to Melbourne for it. They did play Adelaide, where I'm from. Yeah. They toured for the Big Day Out Festival, which went to started in New Zealand and then worked its way around Australia. But some bands would also do side shows.
Right.
And of course, I started hyperventilating when I found out they were playing it. So I went, "There's no way they're going to come to Australia. It's too far, and they've sold about 5 records here." And they did a signing at a record store. Remember those? Yeah. And
about.
And I problem is I wanted to say hi to them and all that kind of thing, but you're on this conveyor belt just going, "Oh, hey, here's my," you say, "Oh, yeah, hi." It's actually one of my favorite signed posters because the poster is of this is My Truth album where they're on the beach and they're both all three of them have signed it really nicely on their own body and their full names, and it just for me it just looks really cool, and I was so happy. I remember I think I found that poster in Melbourne in a record store, and I just went, "Oh, do you mind if I have it?" And they went, "Yeah, go." And I just went, "Oh,
bloody hell, God!"
I know. I was just very, very happy that I got that. So one day that'll be on a wall somewhere. So, but at least I've got the picture.
I was looking through my ticket stubs not so long ago, and flicking through the Manics ones, going, "Oh, I have seen them a few times."
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. I'm glad I now have seen them quite a few times. Yeah. Very happy about that. Yeah. Can we just rewind a little bit?
Of course.
So when we're talking about the God Save the Manics, so that was an EP they released, and it is related to this album.
Okay.
So it had 3 tracks, and I wish I was at the gig, but I wasn't. But apparently it was at the last gig of the tour.
Okay.
And it was at the Hammersmith Apollo, and apparently there was miscommunication between the band and the people at Hammersmith that apparently the box was just kind of left on the floor. It wasn't the CDs. They're all CDs. The CDs weren't put out, and they're meant to be for free, by the way. So apparently, some people saw it, some people didn't. But then, we're talking 2005, where hey, Facebook is. I've just gone on Facebook on 2005, so social media really isn't a thing. Let's be real, and so you didn't know about it. Like no one knew about it. So imagine later, one day later, you go, you could have got a free single. I was at that gig,
God.
But so it became a bit of a collector's item. I do have a copy. It's back in Australia, but so it's got 3 tracks.
Yeah,
and what I've read into it, so A Secret Society, Firefight, and Picturesque. Apparently, these were all B-sides for the potential 3rd single.
All right.
So there you go. And Picturesque would have easily fit on the album. It's kind of that. Firefight, I think that, for me, that sounds more of a bridge towards Send Away the Tigers, to be fair.
All right, okay. So it's quite a big jump then, isn't it?
It's more guitar-driven. But it is a good B-side once because it is a B-side. I don't know how you think, but when it's a B-side, my mind thinks differently sometimes. So I go, that is.
Yeah, sometimes, but I do try to keep an open mind.
Yeah. But interesting. So that they recorded a lot, around this time. So I have, looking at my track listings, there's another. A whole bunch of B-sides, about another 10-ish. And did you know there was some even, because they released By the Grace of God, that was the other song. I was trying to think of they released for the Big Day Out, for the Greatest Hits. And there were 3 B-sides on that.
3 B-sides?
Yeah, so they were, and there's a track called It's All Gone. It's in my top 10. I absolutely love this song. I just go, how was this not released on the album? Like, I just think Lifeblood could have been a much different album if they did, all these earlier tracks they recorded.
Yeah.
And they just went, no. As you said, we're going to do this mid-tempo, very reflective album.
Yeah. And
but not complaining. Not complaining.
Could they have released it as a? They've released it as a double album and stuck a couple of extra tracks on there. Yeah, that would have been why. Because I know when it wasn't re-released at one point as a 45 RPM double album.
As in on vinyl.
Yeah,
that was that was last year. So it got released on red vinyl. Yeah, right. It was double red vinyl. But it is 12 tracks, and that's kind of. I think it's 45 minutes, which is. Well, maybe they just wanted it to sound really nice, didn't they? Because 45 minutes, you can do that on one vinyl. That's kind of the maximum, they say.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's such a strange decision because being the bridge between Know Your Enemy and then Journal, it's such a strange place to pause.
Well, Send Away the Tigers is next, isn't it?
Sorry. Yes, I'm looking at my wrong screen, but it's such a strange place to pause, to turn all the guitars off, to turn all the synths on, but then not continue down that road. Because Send Away the Tigers is a flipping brilliant album.
Well, the first single, Underdog, it's like the underdogs we are. It's kind of, we're back.
Yeah,
because I still remember when it came over in 2005 and because the album failed, I remember they said we're going on a break, and I thought they were breaking up. I went, I've finally moved to the UK and they're breaking up. I just went, are you kidding? And that's when I saw them, because they played that. There was that Christmas show, and I had to go to Manchester because I went, well, if they're breaking up, I need to see them before they break up. Because they only played the Manchester show. I think it was an XFM thing, XFM or Radio X, whatever it's called. They used to do a Christmas for charity, and Magic Numbers also played. I remember that show. Great show. Yeah, I loved it. I was so glad I saw them. But I was so glad when they came back with Send Away the Tigers. I just went, Urgh.
Because Send Away the Tigers is, and we'll talk about that in the next episode, but it's a full-on guitar album. There's no prisoners taken. Imperial Bodyguards is like, it's almost like faster. It is such a good song, and it's like maybe they needed that to get Lifeblood out of their system.
Yes.
Yeah. Before they could go and say, you know what, sod it. This is what we're all about.
But I think they didn't, when it did fail commercially.
Yeah.
I think they took it to heart. I think especially Nicky.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's why they came, and that's why they took the break. They did the solo albums, and they came back, with a great record, Send Away the Tigers.
Oh, one of the best in my opinion.
I agree.
I don't know where I would put it because I haven't done a chart.
Good point. Yeah.
But I find it without doing two albums or one episode, I find it a very consistent album.
Yes.
And I think that is, particularly looking at the earlier albums, that is what the Manics were for me. They were consistent.
I agree. Absolutely agree.
Phenomenal. Right, well, that's the 7th album done. It looks like you got yourself a permanent gig now, so I'll see you for Send Away the Tigers, because you know stuff I don't.
And obviously we'll get to it, but that was another time. So remember this album?
Yep.
CD singles.
So a
lot of they had to write B-sides.
Yeah,
and that's the same with this album. So I was working at HMV at the time, and it was all about the 2-part singles.
It was,
and so I needed the B-sides and all that kind of stuff. So I was loving it.
Yeah,
and I've got them all as well. So there's definitely a few. I'll be talking about B-sides. Yeah, I thought they're great on this next album.
Yeah, because there was a lot of multiple packaging options as well.
Exactly,
with CD singles,
and they're still doing 7 inches as well.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah.
Well, we've done Lifeblood. It wasn't the album we hoped it would be, but at times it did fulfill everything we wanted it to be. A couple of tracks we don't quite see eye to eye on, which is fine, which is the subjectivity of being a fan. But yeah, I will continue to listen to this album. It's not my favorite child.
No.
Even though we should never ask who our favorite child is, in case my children are listening.
Although I'm going to say something controversial. I listened to this over Rewind the Film. I'll take it any day.
Oh, we will get there when we get there.
For me, that was a massive misstep, but that's all I'll say.
Yeah, we'll get there in due course. Well, thanks again to everyone for listening. Thanks for all of your support on the podcast. It's really, really appreciated. Thank you again to Darren. Thank you to the Manics, of course. Without them, we would have nothing to natter about. And join us again for the next episode where we talk about Send Away the Tigers. Thank you very much.